Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one of the most shocking and intense joint operations ever conducted between the US Navy and the FBI. What began as a quiet surveillance mission in the Pacific Ocean soon unraveled into a multi-billion-dollar drug takedown that exposed the dark underbelly of international trafficking networks. The operation wasn't just about seizing drugs. It revealed a deeply sophisticated global network that spanned continents, used advanced technology, and even had military-grade protection for its cargo. This is the story of how the US Navy and FBI dismantled a $5 billion meth syndicate that no one thought could ever be caught. The story begins far from American shores, in the vast waters of the South Pacific. Naval intelligence had been monitoring suspicious vessel movements between Southeast Asia and Central America. These were not ordinary shipping routes. Each ship maintained strange, unpredictable patterns, often drifting for days without radio communication, then suddenly rerouting at high speed toward isolated rendezvous points. When analysts pieced together the data, they realized the ships were forming part of a massive and coordinated smuggling operation. What they didn't yet know was that these ships were carrying one of the largest illegal methamphetamine cargoes ever recorded in modern history. Inside the control rooms of US Navy destroyers stationed across the Pacific, a silent operation was underway. Satellites tracked heat signatures and radio frequencies coming from what appeared to be ordinary fishing trawlers. Yet, their hulls were reinforced with steel, and their decks contained hidden compartments large enough to store tons of cargo. The FBI joined in, linking maritime data with criminal networks operating in Los Angeles, Manila, and Hong Kong. What they discovered was staggering: a multi-tiered syndicate that used front companies, fake shipping manifests, and encrypted maritime communications to move drugs worth billions of dollars across international waters. The interior of the ships told the real story. Hidden beneath the floors, engineers had welded secret storage tanks designed to stay undetectable by scanners. Some compartments were filled with barrels of methamphetamine, each one sealed and disguised as industrial cleaning chemicals. The smugglers had gone to extreme lengths to cover their tracks, even installing decoy cargo and using specially coated containers to avoid radar detection. Inside, the smell of chemicals was masked with industrial oil, and air filtration systems were modified to remove any trace odor. It was a moving fortress of crime, floating under flags of convenience and false registration. The operation took months of preparation. The FBI Counter-Narcotics Unit in Washington collaborated closely with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service and the U.S. Coast Guard. Their target was a fleet of 8 vessels that regularly changed routes between Thailand, Indonesia, and Mexico. Each ship was part of a chain, passing shipments in the middle of the ocean to avoid detection near any coastlines. What made this operation extraordinary was how the traffickers combined cartel logistics with military precision. The entire structure resembled a shadow navy, commanded by individuals who never used their real names, operated through encrypted satellite phones, and even used drones to scout ahead of maritime patrol zones. When the US Navy finally moved in, it wasn't a single strike. It was a coordinated global sweep. In the Pacific, USS Lassen and USS Dewey intercepted 2 ships near the Philippines, while the Coast Guard seized another near Guam. At the same time, FBI agents executed simultaneous raids on warehouses and safe houses in Los Angeles, Honolulu, and Miami. The timing was flawless. Within 48 hours, the entire operation began to collapse. Surveillance drones captured the smugglers attempting to dump cargo into the ocean as Navy helicopters hovered above. What they didn't realize was that every move had been anticipated. Each ship had been under satellite tracking for weeks, and the US Navy had already recorded every handoff, every transmission, and every shipment code. When the teams boarded the ships, the scale of what they found shocked even seasoned agents. Hidden in reinforced compartments were nearly 150 tons of pure crystal meth, worth approximately $5 billion on the global black market. The drugs were packed in containers labeled as marine lubricant and synthetic polymers, all with forged documents. The traffickers had even hired former military technicians to maintain their systems, ensuring the ships could run long distances without docking for resupply. Inside the captain's quarters, agents found encrypted laptops, offshore account lists, and satellite communication data linking back to a powerful Asian cartel, and its partners in Latin America. Performance-wise, the operation was one of the smoothest ever carried out between military and federal law enforcement agencies. The U.S. Navy demonstrated precision maneuvering in open waters, using advanced sonar and surveillance drones to track each ship with minimal confrontation. The FBI Cyber Division simultaneously infiltrated the Syndicate's communication network, decoding messages that revealed their next destination. Every piece of intelligence was cross-checked in real time between ships and command centers. It was an example of pure synchronization, technology, intelligence, and manpower working seamlessly to dismantle a criminal empire that had eluded international authorities for years. The safety measures taken during this mission were exceptional. Navy boarding teams were equipped with full-body armor, night vision systems, and chemical protection suits. Intelligence had warned them that some of the ships might be rigged with self-destruct devices or booby traps, designed to destroy evidence before capture. In one instance, a ship's crew tried to ignite the fuel tanks to set the vessel ablaze, but Navy engineers quickly neutralized the threat. Every move was calculated to minimize casualties and preserve evidence. Even the transportation of the seized drugs was handled under heavy security, with FBI escorts and constant aerial surveillance, until it reached secured government storage facilities. The unique selling point of this operation lies in its scale and intelligence depth. Unlike most drug seizures, this was not just about confiscating narcotics. It was about dismantling an entire ecosystem. The network involved corrupt officials, front companies, cryptocurrency laundering, and arms trafficking. It was a global enterprise hiding in plain sight. The FBI traced financial transactions back to offshore banks in the Cayman Islands and Singapore, revealing how profits from the meth trade were being funneled into real estate, luxury goods, and political bribes. The U.S. Navy's maritime dominance made it impossible for the smugglers to slip through once the operation was set in motion. They had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. The Syndicate's downfall also exposed the growing link between organized crime and geopolitical instability. Investigators discovered that a portion of the profits was being redirected to fund proxy militias and weapons smuggling in the Middle East. This revelation turned a criminal case into a national security issue. The intelligence gathered during this bust is now being shared with international allies, helping track similar operations across Europe, Africa, and South America. For years, cartels had believed that the high seas provided a safe zone beyond any nation's jurisdiction. This operation shattered that illusion permanently. When the suspects were brought in, it became clear how deeply organized and well-funded this network was. Many of them were not the stereotypical smugglers, but educated professionals, engineers, accountants, even former naval officers, recruited for their skills in logistics and navigation. Interrogations revealed a chilling picture of a syndicate that ran like a multinational corporation, complete with hierarchical management, performance incentives, and international coordination. Each member played a specialized role, from manufacturing in remote jungle labs to maritime transport and money laundering in major cities. The price of this victory, however, wasn't small. The operation took years of planning, millions in funding, and enormous risk for those involved. But the results sent a powerful message. Even the most advanced criminal networks can't escape the reach of combined military and federal intelligence. The seizure of $5 billion in meth is not just a number, it represents billions of potential doses taken off the streets, countless lives saved, and one of the biggest financial blows ever delivered to global narcotics trafficking. The syndicate's collapse has already caused ripple effects across the criminal underworld, forcing others to shut down or relocate their operations. In the aftermath, the U.S. Navy continued to patrol the region with heightened vigilance. The FBI launched follow-up operations to trace the remaining financial assets connected to the network. Several nations have now joined an international maritime coalition to share intelligence and prevent future large-scale trafficking attempts. For both agencies, this victory became a case study in interagency cooperation and precision execution. It highlighted how modern warfare and law enforcement are no longer just fought on battlefields or city streets, but across oceans, data networks, and digital communications. The implications of this operation extend far beyond law enforcement. It demonstrated the strategic importance of naval intelligence and the integration of real-time surveillance technology. It also revealed how global drug syndicates have evolved into tech-savvy enterprises capable of using encryption, drones, and stealth logistics to outmaneuver traditional policing methods. But no matter how sophisticated these organizations become, they remain vulnerable to coordinated global action. The U.S. Navy and FBI ability to merge tactical strength with digital intelligence has set a new standard for future counter-narcotics missions. As the world reflects on this mission, one thing is certain: the era of impunity for maritime drug trafficking is ending. The ocean, once seen as a sanctuary for smugglers, is now one of the most heavily monitored and controlled domains on the planet. The U.S. Navy's advanced detection systems can now identify suspicious vessels within hours, while the FBI cyber tools can trace communication patterns across continents. Together, they've created an invisible web of surveillance that leaves criminals with no room to maneuver. The success of this joint mission stands as proof that even the most elusive criminal enterprises can be brought down through persistence, coordination, and innovation. Behind every intercepted message, every radar blip, and every boarded ship were teams of men and women who risked their lives to ensure that billions worth of poison never reached the streets. It's a testament to human intelligence and dedication in the face of global crime. And so, as the waves settled and the seized ships were towed into secure naval ports, the world witnessed a defining moment in the fight against international drug trafficking. The U.S. Navy and FBI didn't just seize narcotics. They dismantled a global network, disrupted criminal economies, and restored a measure of safety to international waters. This operation will be remembered not just for its scale, but for proving that even in a world of hidden networks and encrypted shadows, justice can still prevail.